Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Good. So we have our exam tomorrow. Let me tell you what will be in the exam. So I posted the review sheet on Brightspace. Make sure you study it very well. And also I posted the YouTube link on the review sheet. If you want to see the solution for any questions, simply go to that YouTube channel. And then under each section, you'll find the solution. So from 3.2, 3.3, and question 1, 4, and 5, combining all of these, you'll have one question. 1, 4, and 5. These three combination.
Can you change the sheet?
No, it's 1, but then question 4 and question 5. I put them together with 1. 1 question, but what will be in that question? Find the x-intercept, find the y-intercept, find the slope, and graph. So one question with 4 parts: x-intercept, y-intercept, slope, and graph it. From 3.4, find the slope that goes through 2 points. 1 question. The secant line, of course. I'll give you a different function and different x values. So function will be different, x values will be different, but the same concept, same scenario. Write down the equation in slope-intercept form, standard form, either one or both, I don't know. But one of them, when the graph will be given, you have to find the equation of the line. Okay. From 3.5, find the equation of the line that goes through 2 points. 1. Find the equation of the line with slope and 1 point. 1. So it could be point slope standard form or y equals mx plus b format. I mean both, but which one is what? I don't know. Okay, so one of them you're gonna find results in standard form. For another one, write the results in slope intercept form. So cold. And then I'm going to skip 10 and 11. One question, sorry, 2. One question, but 2 parts. Where are you going to find the equation of the line, parallel line and perpendicular line? So let me actually write it's one question. It's one question, but 2 parts. Find the equation of the parallel perpendicular line. I'm going to skip. And then from question 14, 8 to 10.
So those are all visualization questions, right?
Mm-hmm. 8 to 10, each one will have 3 parts. Okay. I don't remember actually how many I have, 8 of them or 10 of them.
So you're basically doing that. When you say 3 parts, it's just
in one part you are going to graph, another part you are going to write what's the equation, and in another part what's the slope. So 3 parts for each one of them, and there will be around 8 of them or 10 of them. Probably 10. I actually don't remember. Is it 8 or 10? It depends on page. In one page, how many I could fit. Did I fit 8 or 10? I don't remember. Now, fun questions. No math is needed. 7?
I have a question.
7 or 5? 5 to 7, okay? I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Do you want me to just find the results in the link, or you can just kind of see go over it?
Whatever question you have, I'm going to go over them. If nobody has any question, I'm going to start 4.5. First, let me tell you what will be in the exam. So from baby stuff, 5 or 7? I don't remember, probably 7, okay? Or probably 5. But no math are needed, right? All you have to do is draw a vertical line and see how many intersections you have. Draw a vertical line and see how many intersections you have. Draw a vertical line and see how many intersections you have. So these are yes, no question. Do they represent graph? Yes or no? Now, question 16. Either 3 of them or 6 of them. Okay.
So that's just yes or no.
Yes or no, but it has 2 points. One is 2 parts. One is for yes, no. Another is for why. So I actually miss a part. So one for reasoning and one for your answer. And for reasoning, you can write 2 choices, either y with an odd power. If you y with an odd power, then say yes. If you have y with an even power, then says no. Or if there is no y. So no y with even means there's not a function. You have to tell. So for example, the first one, yes, y with an odd power. D, it's no, why? No way. Okay, so I'll give 2 spaces. One is for yes, no, and one is for your reasoning. And you'll see it says write yes, no, and then why. Either 3 or 6, I don't remember. And then one from substituting. Yes. Finding domain in range from the graph. I believe 3 of these. One is for domain and one is for range. 2 parts. Find domain of the function, find range of the function. Again, you're not going to do any math. You're just going to write down the interval. Now the same question, find the domain only. And again, I'm going to ask 3 of these because we have 3 scenarios. And then I'm going to skip 20 seconds. But from 23, there will be 2. One of them will be with X and Y answer unique, and another one will be either infinite solution or no solution. Okay, so one from infinite no and one with real answer, both of them. And that's it. 4.5, skip. Now, which thing?
23.
23. So you want me to go about 23? Okay, so let's do 3 questions. 23, 22. Pick whichever one me to go over. A, B, or C? Which one you think look harder? Which one? A? Okay, let's do it, no problem. So, A. A, let's use substitution method. So in order to use substitution method, we want one variable to be alone. In any of the equation, do you see any variable alone? Not alone yet, right? Because this y has 2 in the front. It's not alone yet. You can use substitution in A also. So if you want to use substitution, we want to have y alone. So we divide both sides by 2. So we get y equals what? Negative 4x divided by 2 gives us negative 2x. So we have a first equation, 2x plus y equals 7. And we just found out that y is same as 2x. Now, instead of writing y here, we are going to substitute that with the 2x. So we have 2x plus negative 2x because this is the y. See, plus minus 2 is cancel out. So what is 2x minus 2x? 0. So we have 0 equals 7. Is 0 and 7 are the same numbers? So this statement is true or false? False. Anytime your variable get cancelled out and you left with a false statement, what type of result we have? No solution. Because this is something wrong, something false. So false means we don't have any solution. However, if we had a true statement like 7 equals 7, then what would have been the answer? Infinite solution. So true statement means infinite solution, and false statement means no solution. So if your variable get cancelled out, then you have two choices, either infinite solution or no solution. How do you recognize? If the same numbers are on both sides of the equal sign, it's true. If you have two different numbers, it's false. When you have some x value or some y value. Let me get rid of this page.
It doesn't matter what question you do, but you can do substitution where you know, solve
one variable into the other equation. Now let's do this using substitution. Sorry, elimination. So I chose elimination here because we can see clearly that you have plus 3y minus 3y. So if you add the two equations, they'll cancel out. So don't even think about substitution here. Just go for elimination. So what is left then? 6x equals 18. And see, now we have a variable to work with. So we're going to have unique solution. To get the x alone, we divide by 6. So 6 plus 18, how many times? 3 times. So we found one solution, one variable from our solution, but we need the other one also. So you pick one of the equation. It doesn't matter which one you pick, get the same result. Let's say I'm going to pick the second one. You can pick the first one, no problem. But I want to pick the second one because my y is positive there. I don't have to deal with negative y. So we know what x is 3. So instead of writing x here, we're going to write 3. X times 3. Sorry, 4 times 3. What I was doing? 4 times 3 plus 3y equals 9. And what is 4 times 3? So 12 plus 3y equals 9. Our goal is to get this y alone. What do we do? Subtract. So subtract 12 from both sides. We get 3y equals 9 minus 12. How much is 9 minus 12? Negative 3.
You can't write it as 12 minus 9.
No, because 12 has a negative sign. So it's negative 12 plus 9. So it's 12 minus 9. It is 12 minus 9, 3. But we take the sign from the bigger one. Our bigger number has a sign negative, so answer has to be negative 3. But our y is not alone yet, right? So we divide this time by 3, and we get y equals negative 1. So you write the solution as a pair. But x is 3, y is negative 1. So when you have a unique solution, when you add or subtract, when you use elimination or substitution, doesn't matter. After your substitution or elimination, you get a variable to work with. If you have a variable, that means you're going to get unique solution. But if all the variables cancel out, that means either it has no solution or infinite solution. 2 choices. Okay. Go ahead, Kimilcia. Domain. From function or from graph? Which one? Function, graph, both? Okay, no problem. Let's start with something easy. 20. Question 20. Let's say this one. Domain. Domain represent what? X or the Y? X. And range represent what? Y. Now, in here, this is 8. So from which X value to which X value you see in your graph? Our graph is a vertical line. X, which X value? Do you have any X from here in your graph? Are you using the X value 4 in your graph? Are you using X value 10 in your graph? Are you, 8, right? So we are using only one X value in the graph. So our domain has only one X, which is 8. We are not using anything before 8, anything after 8 in the graph. But anytime your domain or range has only one number, do you remember which type of parentheses we use? Curly bracket. So it's something like this. For one number, it's curly. You can think of it as your head. You know, look at her, Yvette. She has a curly hair and her head is between that. She has only one head, right? So if you have only one, if you have only one number, It goes between your curly hairs. Okay. Now range. Range is all the y's you see. So we have a y value here, right? We have another y value there. We have another y value there. And the line is keep going on forever and ever and ever. But is it positive or negative? Negative. So the smallest y value we have in our graph is negative infinity. Similarly, the line is going on forever upward. So we have a y here, 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 here. So y is different. So positive infinity. And infinity always get what? Which ending? Parenthesis, not bracket, parenthesis. 15 questions with multiple parts. Or you missed the first part. I'm going to show you again what question will be in the exam. So for domain and range, there will be 3 from the graph, 3 from your function. So that's how we find domain and range, okay? You see which x values you have in your function, and then if you have more than one, from which number to which number. Which one? Top one or the this one? Yeah. Okay, good. So domain is from the smallest x value to the largest x value. And remember, these lines are going on forever. So what is happening in the line? For this point, do we have an x value? Yeah. We do. For this point, do you have an x value? Yeah. Yes, every point you have an x value in there. How about this point? Anytime you have a point, you must have an x and y. This is a line, right? So we have points everywhere. Do you see? Every point means you have an x and you have an y. So the more the line is going downward, we still have our x values, but what is happening to the x values? Are they getting bigger or are they getting smaller? Smaller. They're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So what is the smallest x value we get if it gets smallest? Negative infinity. Similarly, the line is going upward forever. So we have a point here. We have another point here. We have another point here. We have another point here. So as the line is moving forward, we have points in everywhere. So what is happening to the x values when the line is going upward? They are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So our domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity. Now range is you're observing your y values. So since our x is going everywhere, so for every point, we have an x and we have an y, right? So what is happening to all these y values? They're also getting smaller, right? This y value is smaller than the previous one. This y value is smaller than the previous one. So the y values are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So what will be the smallest y value we have? Negative infinity. And as the line going upward, look at all the y values. What is happening to all the y values? They're getting bigger, so the highest one will be positive infinity. So if you don't see a part of the graph, then your y value or your x value stopped. But if your line is going on or if your function is going on forever, then your x and y value is running forever. Let's do the last one. And let's do the range. In your V, What is the smallest y value you see? 3. Here. Do you see any y value smaller than 3 in your graph? No. So we must start our range from 3. And then what is the highest y value you have in your graph? Infinity. So infinity gets symbol parentheses, but the 3, will you get a parenthesis or a bracket? Good, you remember. Bracket. We always use bracket unless you have a hole in your graph. If you have a hole in your graph, it's parentheses. Otherwise, it's bracket in an interval. If it's one number, it's curly bracket because you have one head and your curlies are on both sides. And if we have an interval, either it's parentheses or bracket. It's always bracket if you don't have a hole. Okay? Any question? No? Now, the same scenario for function, but in the function, we're not going to find range because finding range is kind of harder. So skip range, we only work with domain. And when you have a function, you ask yourself, the function I'm working with, does it have a problem? If it does, then what type of problem we have and how can you solve this? For example, B. B has a denominator, right? And anytime you have a denominator, there's always something wrong, right? What we cannot have on the denominator is 0. So that means rational has one problem. The problem is our denominator cannot be 0. It can be a negative number, it can be a positive number. We don't care about positive, negative. The only problem we have is we don't know how to divide anything into 0 pieces. So denominator can never be 0. So we start by taking this denominator, x plus 8, and we state our problem. Our problem is that thing we have on the denominator cannot give us 0. And then we solve for x to see which number makes this denominator 0. To solve for 8, to solve for x, what do you do? Subtract 8 from both sides. That tells us we cannot use x equals -8. So we can use any number from the number line to substitute our x with. The only number we have to ignore is -8. So from negative to positive infinity, everything are allowed to be used except for this number -8. So to write this in interval notation, we see our number line breaks into 2 intervals. And then we write them separately. In the first interval, what numbers to what number you see? -infinity to? No, see -8 you cannot take. So it's up to -8. Here. Infinity gets parentheses. And for -8, can you substitute x with -8? No. So it's parentheses. Anytime we cannot use a number, we use the parentheses to represent that. We cannot use that number. In this interval, the first interval. But we still have another piece, the second interval. So we add a u between them, and then we start the second interval. In the second interval, what is the smallest number you're allowed to you see in your interval? -8. And then what is the highest number you see? Infinity. Again, what will get -8 will get what? Parentheses. Because we are starting from -8, but we actually cannot use that. This one. For rational, you're never going to get a bracket. For rational, this type of rational, okay? When our numerator doesn't have any problem. So in this class, your life is easy, but when you get to pre-calculus, you'll have more complex ones. When numerator will have a problem, denominator will have a problem, and then you'll see where both problems get solved. But here, don't worry about that. We only look at the denominator and we solve the denominator issue. Now, the second one is even root, square root, right? So do you know what is square root of any positive number? Does it exist? It does. Do you know what is square root of a 0? It's 0, so it does exist. Do you know square root of any negative number? It doesn't exist. That means for any type of square root, what's the problem? Non-negative. So we start with our function inside. That function, not only x, okay? The entire function. That entire function can be positive or it can be equals 0. It can be positive, it can be 0, but definitely it cannot be negative. And then we start solving for x to see which x value satisfies this condition. So to solve for x, what do you do? Solve for x. We subtract 1 from both sides. We get 2x bigger than or equal -1. And then divide by 2. So we see we are only allowed to substitute all the x values that is equals x equals -1/2, and it has to be bigger than -1/2. Okay? So if you look at your number line, somewhere here we have -1/2. We can use 1/2, -1/2. We're allowed to use it. And we can use everything that is bigger than 1/2. -1/2. So this is our solution. How are you going to write as an interval notation? So -1/2, since we can use, so it's bracket and then infinity parenthesis. So square root function gets bracket in the domain, but rational gets only parenthesis in the domain. Now we've seen 2 examples with problems. Now if you look at the first one, does it have a problem? It's not on the denominator, so it doesn't have any denominator issue. It's not inside the square root, so it doesn't have square root issue. So does it have any? No. It doesn't have any problem. If your function doesn't have any problem, that means you can substitute x with any number. So what is the domain in this case? -infinity to +infinity. So anytime you're confused, start with something that has a problem and then go back and see the one you have before, does it have a problem like this? If they don't, the result is infinity. Let me take the attendance now. And you see, do you have any other question?
Myself is substituting 0 or
Okay, I'll go over that. Brianna Almonte, Christina, Catherine, Jolene, Govan, Madison Field, Eric, Abraham here, Stephanie here, Leandra, Robert here, Katie here, Kimelsia here, Maria, Sandy's here, Michaela, Madison Orlando here, Angie, Mazabin, Melvelis, Ramos now, Giselle here, Mohammed here, Tahsin here, Gavin, Brian of Texas, Carla, Yvette here, Nick here, Danielle, absent, and Hassan here. Okay, next one is at question 5. Oh, question 5. From question 5, all you have to do is find out x and y intercept. Okay, so we have 3x minus y equals -2. And you also have to find, never mind. You only need to find x and y intercept to graph it. So if you want to find x intercept, we set y 0. So if the whole y is 0, we get 3x equals -2. That gives us x is -2/3. Because we are dividing both sides by 3. And if you want to find y-intercept, you can set x 0, so this gets cancelled out. You get -y equals -2. Then what is y? 2.
I got it. I wanted to make sure I did it right.
But in the exam, it will be point form. So how are you going to write point form? For y-intercept, our x is 0 and y is whatever we got. And for x-intercept, x is whatever we have, but what is y? 0. And let's say they wanted to find slope also. So we have 3x minus y equals -2. And this time we are finding slope. To find the slope, what do you have to do? Get the y alone. Y equals mx plus b. Not formula, but we can use formula from using these 2 points. I actually seen many people did that. But you don't have to use formula. You can simply solve for y. So you subtract 3x from both sides. You get -y equals -3x minus 2. But then we don't want to see -y. We want positive y. So you multiply or divide entire thing by negative. It means you're just changing all the sign. So what is our slope? 3. And to graph, our y-intercept is 2. somewhere here. And our x-intercept is negative 2/3. Negative 2/3 is smaller than negative 1, right? So if this is negative 1, it's somewhere here. And then you connect them to a straight line.
We practice using the slope. Just using that was like,
True. So from here you go up 3, right 1. So one question from 3.2, 3.3, you're going to find x-intercept, y-intercept, slope, and then graph. One question with 4 parts. Then from 3.4, one question from question 2, 2 points are given, find the slope. So we need the slope formula. What's the slope formula? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then second line. In the second line, they actually gave us the x value. So this is x1, this is x2. They're asking us to find the slope. So we know formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We have the denominator. Do we have the numerator? No. But if you know our x, can we find our y from the equation they gave us? So we are going to substitute x1, we get y1. We are going to substitute x2, we are going to get y2. So whatever you got, you come back here and then substitute everything. And then from graph to equation, you always start with the easy one. The easy equation is y equals mx plus b. You're going to keep your y, keep your x, but you need to change or you need to find what is m and what is b. B is y-intercept, so it's 2. Now from B, you're going to walk your slope to go to the next point, and then you can find your slope. So from here, go to anything near that point. It doesn't matter how many units you go, it doesn't matter. So let's say from there, I want to walk to my x-intercept. You don't have to walk that far, but let's say this is a good one. Like you can see clearly what is our x and what is our y, right? It's clear, it's visible. So let's see how much we walk from this point to that point. So from the y-intercept, are you going to walk upward or downward? Down. How many units? 2. So 1 and 2. So down 2 means what? Plus 2 or minus 2? Minus 2 on the top or on the bottom? On the top. So minus 2 on the top. And then from here, how many units you're walking? To the left or to the right? Right means what? Plus or minus? Plus. So we are going 6 units to the plus side. How? So from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are going 6 to the plus side, 2 downward. So minus 2 or plus 6, but you cannot stop here. Because see, 2 and 6, they both are divisible by 2. That means you have to simplify. So y equals negative 1 over 3x plus 2.
so it's the point, not where it's touching.
Uh,
I gotta remember. And then that's where I-
what do you mean by touching?
Where the blue line touches the y-axis.
True, but you can also pick these points.
Okay.
If you pick this, we can pick this one because it's crossing the corner of your square. So in here we have x equal to 3 and y equal to 1. So you get the same result. So anytime you don't see something, keep walking until you see a visible point that has a whole number x and a whole number y. You definitely cannot put this one because for this one, even though x is 1, but we don't know exactly how much is the y. Y is a fraction. You just not to go down to, you have to follow. I followed my direction from here to here. If you don't walk straight, how else you can walk? You can go down and then go right, or you can go right and then down. It doesn't matter which way you go. Anytime you go up, down means it's on the top of your fraction, and left, right means bottom part of the fraction. So top, right. So if you go up, it means a plus. If you go down, it means that minus. So from this point to that point, we have to go 2 units down. So that's going to be your top minus 2. And then we need to walk right. So it's plus how many units? Any other question? And then equation of the line. So 2 equation you have to find. One is when the 2 points are given. And another is when the slope and 1 point is given. And anytime you're finding equation of the line, you're going to use the formula y minus y1, slope times, I don't have space, so let me check. Slope times x minus x1. Exactly. But in the second one, we don't have to do that because they already gave us our slope. Medicine. 10, 11, 13 now. So for 12, let me go back here. 12. Okay, 12, the right page. Anytime you're finding the slope of parallel and perpendicular from a given line, what do we have to do with the given line? We want to see the slope, right? So we convert into y equals mx plus b. Because this m is the slope. If you don't see a slope, but you're finding the slope of the parallel perpendicular, do something so you can see the slope. So let's do b. 5x minus 8y is 40. Our goal is to get the y alone. So what do we do? Minus 5x from both sides. So negative 8y is negative 5x plus 40. Is our y alone yet? So how can you make it alone? Negative. We have a negative in the front, so it should be negative 8. Cancel. Now you're happy, our y is alone. But what do you observe here? Negative and negative, what happens to them? Cancel out. So left with 5 over 8x. And here we have a positive and negative. So it becomes negative. Can you divide 40 by 8? 5. And the only thing we care here is this one. That's the thing we need.
Yes, that's it. That's where you start.
Right. And then you find the parallel and perpendicular slope. So slope of the parallel line. Parallel. Parallel lines have same slope. So it has to be same, otherwise they will intersect somewhere. But I don't want them to intersect. So in order to guarantee that they'll never intersect, two of them, they have to walk with the same pace. And our slope is the pace, the same pace. Then what would be the slope of the perpendicular line? It's negative because our original one is positive, and then we flip the fraction. So in order to guarantee that they will intersect with a 90-degree angle, we have to have completely opposite sign and completely opposite fraction.
When you look at this negative 8y minus negative 5y,
Yeah?
no, yeah, no, there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the 8 is cancel out, we left a positive 1.
Up there with the 5x, 5x minus 5x.
But here you're subtracting because this 5x and this 8y, they're connected with plus minus sign. So we look at what sign this one has in front. No sign. No sign means plus sign. We have to get rid of that. We use minus 5x both sides. So plus 5x minus 5x cancel out.
Also, when it's a negative 8, then we just leave it.
One is negative 8. We see what is the connection between this negative 8 and 1. So between them, we don't see any plus or minus sign. That is the multiplication sign. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So this time we will subtract, we divide by 28. Okay. Okay. Seven x plus 6y equals 11. Do you guys remember the shortcut I told you to find the slope? Not. Let me remind you the shortcut. Do you remember? First we need to find the slope of this line. That is always the first case. So what is the slope of this line if I don't want to do all this hard work?
So 7 divided by x.
7 divided by? No. It's a number. Slope is a number, right? So the shortcut, if you don't want to do all this hard work to find the slope, all you have to do is take your x term divided by your y term. So not term, sorry, coefficient. So it's x coefficient divided by y coefficient, and then change the sign. So we have slope is 7 over 6, right? But then you have to change the sign. -7 over 6.
So if we do that, that's so this is point.
Yeah, but you have to show me this slide. X coefficient divided by y coefficient, and then you change the sign. So if you tell me that, oh, you know the shortcuts, like, oh, okay, no problem. You don't have to do all this hard work. But let's say you forgot your shortcut, then you have to do all the details. Question, Medicine? No, anything you're finding slope of a line, slope of any line, they give you the line, and you have to find the slope of that line. And you don't want to do all this hard work, or you don't have time, shortcut is fine.
It works to the second.
Any line, if they give you any line and they ask you to find the slope of that line, slope of a line, okay? The line they gave you and find the slope, that is fine.
No, I didn't get that. It's positive.
Yeah,
I got this. I got positive.
positive.
They're both positive.
Right, you cannot get a positive, so you made mistake somewhere. So what is the positive? Okay, let's do it the Usual way. So if I do it usual way, first you have to subtract 7x, right? Did you subtract 7x? Okay. So we have 6y equals negative 7x plus 11. And then what do? Divide by 6. What's the slope? They send this. Question? God. True. I forgot to mention that. Any line that is in standard form, the slope is, you can use the shortcut. The shortcut, thank you for your observation. Shortcut for standard form. I should keep this in my mind. Standard form only. So for example, if you go to your question 1, here, A is standard form, question 1. A is in standard form. So you don't have to do all the details. You can simply find the slope as x coefficient divided by y coefficient, and then change the sign. So if you do that, what's the coefficient for x? Coefficient for y? And then if you change the sign, it becomes negative. Yeah, as long as you show me your shortcut, like x coefficient or y coefficient. So show me this. I'll count this as a one. Okay. What? Okay, so what I was on this. What here? So 1 from parallel and perpendicular finding slope, and then 8 or 10, I don't remember how many, with the no work thingy. So let's do some no work thing. For example, this. Find the slope of the line perpendicular to the x-axis or perpendicular to the y-axis. So for this type of question, you don't need any math. You only need your x and y axis. So they gave you a point. Anytime they give you a point, plot that point. 1, 2, 3, and let's say this is -5. So draw your axis. I mean, you don't have to draw it because I already drew it for you. So in the exam, you'll see your axis is given. First step, plot the point, and then read the question. Find the slope of the line perpendicular to the x-axis. This is the x-axis, right? How can you draw a line that goes to this point but perpendicular to this? A vertical line. So you draw a vertical line that goes straight up and down from this point. And what is the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. So slope is undefined. And but also you have to do your equation. What is the equation of this line?
3.
What equals 3? X or the y? X equals 3. So that's what you have to do. Step 1, graph. Step 2, find the equation. Step 3, find the slope. So this is 14a. Now for 14b, let's try another one. So x, y, 1, 2, 3, and let's say this is -5. So we have a point here. And let's read B. It says find the slope of the line perpendicular to the y-axis. So this is the y-axis we have. How can you draw a line that is perpendicular to this line, but goes through that point? Horizontal line. What is the slope of any horizontal line? 0. And what is the equation for this horizontal line? -5 is what? X or the Y? Y. Y equals -5. So see, you know the number, but you actually forgot is X or Y, right? It forgot to write that. So in the exam, what I'm going to give you is this. First, you have your question here. Whatever you have the question there. In the second box, I'm going to give you X and Y plane, so that you don't forget to graph it. Once you graph, then you have two parts. One is what's the equation? And then I'll tell you whether the equation you have X equals some number, or you're going to have Y equals some number. And then your slope. For slope, either your slope will have 0 or your slope will be undefined. So what you're going to do is, let's say I ask this question. Okay. So your graph is this. This is the point and the graph. So I want to see your graph, including your plotted point. That's 1 point. And then what is the equation of this line? Y equals -5, right? So you pick Y equals -5 and then write it there. And what's the slope of this line? 0. So you're going to pick slope is 0. So I made your life easier by giving you either X or Y. So you don't have, if you forget to write your X and Y, at least you can see them there. And you know, this type of equation has only two choices for slope. Either it's a 0 slope or it's an undefined slope. 14C. Okay. So again, we need a graph. And they give you point, -3, 8. So 1, 2, 3, and let's say this is 8. So we have a point somewhere here. And then see what they're asking. What is the, let's do one by one. Let's do slope, parallel, and this. So what is the slope of the line parallel to this line? So parallel to X equals 9 line, and it's passing through the point -3, 8. So they're not using x-axis or y-axis. X-axis or y-axis. They're telling us x equals 9 line. What is the line that is parallel to the x equals 9 line? Do you see where is x equals 9 line? You don't see it, right? So make it visible. Let's draw x equals 9 line. Let's say somewhere here we have 9. So x equals 9 is this line. Right? X equals 9. So before they gave us either parallel to the x-axis or y-axis. But this time, no more x-axis, no more y-axis. It's parallel to x equals 9 line. So draw your x equals 9 line so we can see it. And now, how are you going to draw a line that is parallel to this line? But it goes to this point. Another vertical line, right? So you draw a vertical line here. So this is the parallel line. Now for this parallel line, you're going to find two things, the equation and the slope. What is the equation of this line? X equals -3. And what is the slope for any parallel, any vertical line? Undefined. So the option you're going to pick is x equals -3 from here, and your slope is undefined. Okay, so plot graph equation. Plot the points so you can see where it's going through, and then the line segment. One of them is given to you, it just make it visible, and the other one is the line they're asking you to draw. Stephanie.
So it's gonna be either a mix of 4 questions for the A2.
So probably what is the slope and equation of the perpendicular line of that line? And then one of them could be what is the slope and equation of parallel line of y equals some number. Okay, just a mixed match of that, all these A, B, C, D, and I think 8 or 10, I don't remember how many I could fit in one page. Okay, so I don't remember how many I could fit in one page. Go ahead.
I had a question about 15B. I think it is a function. Please let me know if I'm wrong.
15B. So you draw a vertical line. And it's not working. What's wrong with this? You draw a line, and yes, it is a function. So for this, no explanation is needed. Just draw me the vertical line. Yeah. Do you want me to do perpendicular? So for perpendicular cases, we still have this point, but we need to draw a line that is perpendicular to this line and goes through this point. So how are you going to draw the line? This one, right? So they meet within 90 degrees. Huh? Horizontal line. So from here, you see they have a 90-degree intersection. So this is the perpendicular line. And now for this perpendicular line, what is the equation of this line? What's the y value you see? 8. Y equals 8. And what's the slope of any horizontal line? 0. See? You're not doing any math here. So these are fun questions. So it's going to be 3 lines. What do you mean 3 lines? Vertical one. Oh, here I have 2 questions together. In the exam, I have only 1 question. And I was too lazy to draw them twice. So
are we coming for 12 o'clock tomorrow?
the 12 o'clock is too early.
Oh,
Come 12:30. If you come at 12:30, I'll give you the exam early.
Okay.
20 minutes more.
I don't remember.
Practice. Any other question?
Do we have recital or whatever is more accurate on that?
PLTL. Brianna, question?
So every time, no matter what, perpendicular slope will always be 0 at tri-level?
No. It depends on what type of line you have. Anytime you have a vertical line, whether it's a parallel or perpendicular, if the line is vertical, the slope is undefined. Anytime your horizontal line, it doesn't matter if it's a parallel line or perpendicular line. If the line is a horizontal line, the slope is 0.
Like this saying, like in general, like the line is horizontal, it will only
0.
and the other way around it will always be on the side.
Go on. Shortcut slope. Question 1. So we actually have a question in 4 and 5. 3, 6, 12. So do you want me to go by another question or you want to copy this question? Copy? Okay. See? So it's y equals -2. So let's graph it first. X-axis, y-axis. How are you going to graph y equals -2? -1, -2. So it's just a horizontal line, right? What is the slope of any horizontal line? 0. So we found slope. Then find x-intercept. X-intercept is when you are crossing the x-axis. Are you crossing the x-axis? 0 is a number. None. You cannot write 0. You cannot write 0 because 0 is a number that does exist. But here, it doesn't exist. There is no x-intercept. Now the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept here? -2. But they want is a point. 0, -2. So we have all three: slope, x-intercept, y-intercept, and the graph.
So let's first see one number 8. We don't have to find
Oh, you do have to find everything. I just didn't do everything. So this is the slope. You still need to find your x-intercept, your y-intercept, and then graph it.
So then we have to find this column for y.
Can I do one? Okay, so insert. I didn't erase, I just. So we have 3x plus 5y equals 15. Now here you have to find all 5. So all 4. Slope, either solve for y. So y equals mx plus b. That's the slope. Or you can do shortcut. If you do shortcut, make sure you show me the shortcut. So it's x term over y term, then change the sign. Then for y-intercept, we said x0, right? So if you said x0, this whole thing get vanished. We have 5y equals 15. So y equals 3. As a point, 0, 3. No. Yeah, 0, 3. It's y, my bad. Then you're finding x-intercept. That means we are losing the y. So if you lose the y, what do you have? 3x equals 15. And then x equals 5. And this time the point is 5, 0.
I have a question. So let's say for B, I want to use the shortcut. Do I just write 7x plus 0?
For B,
Or I can't use
no, the shortcut is only for standard form.
So I can't write that in standard form.
You can, it will be 7x plus 0y equals
Yeah.
14.
Then we go with 7. No. Okay. So it's not gonna work.
7x plus 0y is 14. The slope is x coefficient over y coefficient. X coefficient is 7, y coefficient is 0. What's the slope?
0.
Can you divide 7 into 0 pieces? Then what's the answer? You just said it's no. Can you divide 7 into 0 pieces?
It's not possible. So the
So-
slope is 7.
It's undefined. Anytime you cannot do anything, it doesn't exist. So its slope doesn't exist. Doesn't exist means it's undefined. Okay, so the last thing you need the graph. So your y is 3 somewhere here. Your x is 5 somewhere here. And then you connect them with a straight line. Go ahead.
So the short for the slope, you said which side, like, is it
Overall sign. Whatever sign you're going to get from x over y, whatever sign they have, change it.
negative x positive 5y?
Then it will be positive 3 over 5. Whatever sign you have, the overall sign, you're going to change it.
So for number 1, we're finding slope x by graph.
So you draw a vertical line. Draw vertical line anywhere. How many intersections you see? That's line. But this is the graph. Ignore everything else. This is the graph. And now you draw this line. So how many intersections you have? One.
So yeah,
Yes. So good luck, everyone. Remember, no makeup. It doesn't matter what is the reason. If you miss the exam, you get 0.
oh, I think I have makeup on your face. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, after the exam.